Every project starts with an untouched space. You open a new notebook or start a fresh document, and the path forward looks entirely clean. This is the day one effect. It's a period of high confidence where your goals feel reachable because they haven't been tested. You are operating on optimism that hasn't met resistance yet. We usually map out our progress like this, a smooth upward line. It's a flawless trajectory where every hour of work translates directly into a measurable step toward the goal. But a plan built on the expectation of zero mistakes is brittle. By assuming the path will be linear, you leave yourself no room to navigate when the work becomes difficult. Eventually, the timeline slips or a mistake happens. This first encounter with reality is a shock because it wasn't part of the plan. You see the physical evidence of that disruption, the red marks on a draft or the literal torn pages. That initial confidence starts to fade as the gap between your plan and your reality widens. When we fall into the perfection trap, we view any deviation as a total failure. The smooth line breaks apart into jagged drops. Because the goal was perfection, a single error makes the entire project feel compromised. This is where the struggle becomes internal. You stop looking at the difficulty of the task and start questioning your own capability. You begin to believe the mess on the page is a reflection of your own worth. This leads to paralysis. You leave pages blank because you're afraid to make them messy. You miss opportunities because the fear of a flawed attempt is stronger than the desire to finish. The pursuit of an unblemished story is often what stops us from writing the story at all. You eventually reach a point of breakdown. You sit with the work, ready to close the notebook and walk away from the project for good. At this moment, it helps to remember that the notebook is just a tool. It doesn't care about the previous page. It only offers space for the next line. Continuing requires a shift in focus. You have to stop evaluating the aesthetic of the page and start prioritizing the physical act of staying in the chair. A flawed execution is a part of the process. Quitting is a separate decision. One is a temporary setback, the other is a permanent stop. The project only ends when you decide to stop writing. Staying in the game depends on your willingness to accept a few messy chapters. Getting back to work after a setback is a physical process. It means looking at the errors, accepting the frustration, and forcing yourself to write the very next sentence. You don't have to wait for the fear to disappear completely. You can do the work while you're still nervous. Momentum is built by moving alongside your doubts rather than waiting for them to leave. This is iterative growth in action. Chaotic, messy actions, when repeated, eventually organize themselves into competence. Each mistake adds a layer of experience that makes the overall structure stronger. A battle-tested reality is more resilient than an untested dream. The corrections and crossouts are proof that the hard work was actually done, making the final result much more reliable. Resilience is the mechanical refusal to stop moving forward. That repetition is what transforms a chaotic start into a finished product. You eventually reach the end of the journey. You arrive at the final page of the project, and it carries every smudge and correction you made along the way. Look at the text on this page. I was not perfect, but I never quit. It's a statement of fact. You are acknowledging the flaws while recognizing that you refuse to stop. History values a completed, imperfect project far more than a brilliant idea that was never finished. The value is in the completion, not the lack of mistakes. Think about the blank pages in your own life. Try to approach them without the expectation that the first draft needs to be flawless. Tell us in the comments what the next step in your project looks like. Sharing that next move helps reinforce the idea that your progress matters, even when it's messy. A finished notebook, filled with every smudge and correction, carries more weight than 1,000 pristine, unwritten pages. The strength of the story is found in the courage to keep writing until you reach the final line.